Anton, welcome to Capacity TV.
Thank you very much. Good to be here.
How is CMC Networks addressing ISP demands in South Africa?
It's a challenge for us, as it is for all the players in the market. It's a very competitive market. Pricing is being driven down with the advent of another major operator. So we have the two, which are Telkom and Neotel, and they essentially still carry the backbone of fibre connectivity within the country. With the advent of the regulation authority, ICASA, deregulating the market and allowing the licensed operators like ourselves to do self-provisioning, it has opened up the facility whereby we have dark fibre available. Unfortunately, the infrastructure costs at this point are still very high because of the implementation of putting in, metro fibre and that sort of thing. So what we're doing is, along with the competitors, the challenge is really to add value back into your client base. And that's a critical aspect. So we're not just commoditizing the capacity that we have within the Southern African market. We are adding value on through cloud technology, support services, managing MPLS networks for our customers, and a whole host of other things. And those are the things that we are driven to consider and bring to the market for our clients to keep up with whatever's happening in the market and retain that competitive edge. Peering is still very expensive in relative terms within the South African market. I believe those prices will start being driven down as well. Generally speaking, there's a lot of new businesses starting up, licensed operators who are positioning themselves within very special niche markets. They're not necessarily a competition to us because we deal mainly from an Africa, Middle East, global perspective. So we are aware of them, and in some cases they've actually purchase capacities from us to help facilitate their incremental sort of growth into the market.
What do you seek when you find partners for interconnection agreements around the world?
There are a few very key things for us. One of them is obviously accessibility. We need to make sure that those fibre owners have proper accessibility up the east and west coast of Africa. Additionally, we do exactly the same thing in the Middle East. We do it in Eastern Asia and into the sort of southern parts of Asia. We need the accessibility. We absolutely have to have resilience, and we need a very high uptime on those cables. We're dealing with VNO, so we're a wholesale environment, so we're carrier on carrier, and we manage the network for those people, for the end user. So uptimes are critical, latency is critical, and packet loss issues are obviously very, very important. Those are the key areas that we look for when buying into fibre and partnering with those people, for them to be able to bring those kinds of service level agreements to the table to ensure that we can back that up with every single one of our customers wherever we may be.
How does CMC Networks plan to develop the integration model between ICT and telecoms in Africa?
It's a big challenge. The advent of cloud type technology and environments definitely facilitates that. With our footprint that we have in Africa, for example, we have 45 POPs represented in over 40 countries. Globally, we have about 87 POPs in 50-odd countries. But specifically with the African market, the advent of cloud technology allows us in the main economic areas that are developing from an ICT point of view to provision cloud-type technology. What that does is it is not only good for our current client base, but it will allow, through the local service providers who are taking capacity from CMC Networks in those areas, to be able to use our cloud environment and bring that into their market that they deal with, which could be SMEs, rural communities, schools for education, universities, and that type of thing. We are shortlisted with two cloud environment technologies that we're looking at, and our plan is to roll those out early in 2013 into probably 5 or 6 countries within Africa. So we have a local representation or a local presence, and we'll also be able to facilitate that out of South Africa and or London. So wherever our client wants to lock into the CMC environment, we'll be able to do that through the cloud technology. So we believe that is a step toward helping to integrate your typical ICT type market and environment into basic connectivity and telecommunications. And through there, the access would obviously be email, your standard internet browsing. It would be ERP systems would be facilitated that are light to run. It would be able to carry voice in areas that's regulated. So there's a whole host of additional services that we can bring into that cloud environment for that specific ICT market.
It's an interesting strategy you have. How long do you think it will take cloud services and the ICT evolution to take off in Africa as it has done in Asia, Europe and the US?
Our predictions based on research that we've done is I believe that in the major economic regions, we believe that we're looking at about an 18-month window for it to start becoming something that is more accepted and to get rolled out. In South Africa, it's already being utilized to a large extent, some to a lesser or greater degree than others. So I think maximum we'd be looking around about a 2-year window for it to start getting to those kinds of levels. Bearing in mind there's the setup, one has to set it all up, you need to make sure that the capacity is there, you need to understand the market that's going to be using it, the number of accesses you're going to have. So there's quite a lot of research and provisioning that needs to get done, and there's a cost attached to that. So you need to look at your pricing models back into the local in-country market.
Anton, thanks for your time.
It's been an absolute pleasure, and thank you for inviting us.